Assalamu alaikum. In this video we are going to cover the topic of differential equations. Differential equations are equations containing derivatives. So remember, the symbol of derivatives are dy by dx or f prime x. So for example, this particular equation is a differential equation because it contains a derivative. However, this particular equation is not a differential equation because there are no derivatives. So in the next slide we are going to look at the method of finding the solution of a specific kind of differential equation. So differential equations can be of various types, various kinds. In this particular slide we are going to focus on the solution of a degree 1 order 1 differential equation. So this is a particular type of differential equation. So this is the general symbol of, so let me erase this. So this is the general symbol of a order 1 degree 1 differential equation. I'm sorry, I'm making the same mistake again. This is going to be V, not 4. So this is the symbol of a order 1 degree 1 linear differential equation. So why is the order 1? Please note we have a first derivative here. Remember, this is called a first derivative. That is why it's order 1. And since the power of this derivative is 1, so there is a power attached with the derivative, and this power is 1. That is why the degree is 1 as well. So that is the idea of order and degree. Anyways, if you have a order 1 degree 1 linear equation like this, a differential equation like this, in that case the solution can be found using this formula. There are other methods as well, but this is, I think, most common, most popular. So you're more likely to see this in your masters or in some other course. So the solution of this differential equation is equal to e to the power this particular negative integral. So this v that you see here is being used here, and then you have to multiply this with a. A is a constant. If you want to find this out, you need the initial value of y, which in most cases is not given, but if you have the initial value of y, you can find this a. But in most cases you don't have to worry about this, you just leave it as it is. Next we move on to the next part. So this is the integral, another integral, which looks like this. So please note, you have to find this out to find the solution of this differential equation. So as I was saying, this is very common, a very popular formula. It's readily available in Google, it's available in all textbooks. So you have to learn to use it rather than memorizing it. So please try to understand and make sure you can use this. So let's move on and let's try to see how we can apply this particular formula. So we can apply this above formula here. in a situation like this, let's say for example you have this differential equation which we wrote before. So you might wonder, why do we have this t here instead of x? Because usually we have x as the independent variable, but why do we have this t? So please remember, in these situations we are trying to study, we are trying to understand how y changes with time. So time is the independent variable in these scenarios, in these cases. Anyways, the first step is to compare the differential equation that you have. Compare this with the first line of the formula, with the first part of the formula, and you will be able to see in this case you have a first derivative like this. So it's a first order, first degree linear differential equation, and in this case the v is equal to 4. So please write that down. In this case v is equal to 4 and z is equal to 12. So by simple comparison, by simple observation, you can find these values. And now all you need to do is substitute these values. So this v equals to 4 can be used here. So now you can move on to the main solution. So please remember, this is the main solution. So to find the main solution you need v, which you have found here, and you also need z, which you have found here. Please understand, you don't really need the other things, because e is a number available in your calculator, a is a constant, you don't really have to worry about this for now, and again e is a number and you already know what v is. So you just need mainly these two things, v and z, and you have them. So let's move on to the so now all you need to do is substitute v and z into the solution. So I think I should write the solution once again here. So remember, the solution is equal to so this is the solution, and all you need to do is substitute v, substitute z, that's it, right? So if we do the substitution, we end up with so I'm sorry, I missed this dt here, so there should be a dt at the end. So now if you look carefully, you will see that there are three integrations that you have to perform. So this is one integration, this is another integration, and then finally there is this integration. So you have to perform this entire integration. So there are three, right? One, this, two, and this entire 1, 3. So please perform this integration separately. That should make things easier and simpler. So let's perform the first integration first. So this is quite easy. Remember, this is a constant, and in this case the independent variable is t, therefore the integral is going to be minus 4t. And since this is an intermediate step, we are going to ignore c. Remember, generally in the intermediate steps the c is ignored. So now you can find this second integral here. So it's almost the same, except there is no minus. So this is a constant, independent variable is t, therefore the original integral is going to be 4t. Again we are going to ignore c. So now we can perform this third integration, this big integration. So if you write the expression, so this was the second one and now we are moving on to the third one. So we have this 12z, and please note, you just found that this particular integral, let me highlight this with a different color. So you just found out that this particular integral is equal to 40. You just found this out. So instead of writing this, you can write 40 here. No need to write this. And lastly, we put the dt. So this dt is actually quite significant. I'll explain this in a moment. So remember, this is a constant 12, so you can take it outside, you can write it outside, and then just focus on this part here. So this particular t is telling you that this is the independent variable. So the independent variable is in the power, it is in the exponent. Remember, if the independent variable is in the power, then you need to apply a different kind of rule. So this rule was covered in the second video. So according to that video, the rule tells us if you have a situation where the independent variable is in the exponent. So this was the rule that you saw in the second video. So please note, in this case the independent variable x is in the power, it is in the exponent. So the integral is going to be equal to the original integrand. So write the original integrand as it is. So just copy paste this, and in the next step, whatever is beside x, write that in the denominator. So whatever is beside x, write that in the denominator, and then take the ln of the base. So base is the number that is below x, so take the ln of the base. So we have to apply this particular rule to this particular integrand. So when you apply this rule, here, what are you going to get? Well, remember, first write the original function as it is. So write the entire thing as it is. So we write e to the power 40. Now write whatever is beside t, whatever is beside the independent variable, write it in the denominator, and then take the ln of the base. So that is what this rule is telling us to do. So we are just following the instruction here. But remember, there is a 12 that is still there, this 12. So next what we can do is we can perform a simple simplification. So please remember, ln e is equal to 1. You can use your calculator and you can find it out that ln e is equal to 1. So therefore no need to write this. So this is just 1, no need to write this part. So the 4 gets cancelled out with 12, you end up with 3. So ultimately the result is 3 into e to the power 40. So we have found the third integral. Remember, we were trying to find this third integral. So the third integral, which was 12 e to the power 4 t dt. So this third integral is in fact equal to this simple integral. So this is equal to this. So you just found this out, right? Through all these steps, remember, you found this out. So this is equal to this. So now you have everything that you need to find the solution. So remember the original solution was e to the power 4 dt into a plus the integral of 12 into e to the power the integral of v dt. So I'm sorry, this v is equal to 4 here, so write 4 instead of v. So you just found out that this part, there is a minus here, I forgot the minus, so this part is e to the power minus 40, a is a, and you just found out that this entire part, this entire thing is equal to, as you just saw, it's equal to 3 e to the power 40. So this entire expression is equal to this 3 e to the power 40. So now you can multiply this with these. So e to the power minus 40 into a plus 3 e to the power 40 into e to the power minus 40. So e to the power, we can rearrange it like this looks better, and please remember e to the power minus 40 can be written as 1 divided by e to the power 40. So because of this minus, we can put the entire expression in the denominator, then the minus will go away. So if we do this, then we can easily cancel these two expressions, and ultimately the solution becomes even much simpler. So this is the solution of the original differential equation. Now you might ask, what is the application of this solution? How can we use the solution? So the solution can be used to analyze, to find out how y changes with time. So in these concepts of differential equations, in these concepts of integration, this is one of the concern. We want to find out how y changes with time. So to understand this, you can take help of this solution. So this solution actually tells you how y changes with time. So to understand that, we are going to sketch a graph. So first of all, label the x's properly. So remember, this is the dependent variable y, goes here. In this case, the independent variable is t, so t goes here. So the first step of sketching the graph is to identify this constant which is totally detached. So please note, this 3 is totally detached, totally separate from the independent variable. So label an imaginary line at 3. So this will help you sketch the graph properly. So draw an imaginary line at 3, and in the next step, look at the number that is beside t. So look at this coefficient. If the number beside t, if this is negative, so if this number is negative, then you're going to get a downward sloping exponential curve. So remember, you have this e here and independent variable is in the top. That means you're going to get an exponential curve, and since there is a minus with t, that is why the shape will be like this. So please remember, this is the shape of exponential curve. So this is the shape that tells you how y changes with time. So there are some important information we can take from this graph. So first of all, the graph is telling you that y is decreasing with time. So y is slowly decreasing, falling with time. So for example, depreciation, the value of a machine can decrease with time like this. So y is decreasing with time in this case. And we can also understand that y comes very close to this value 3. So as more time passes, as more time goes, the value of y comes very close to this value of 3. As you can understand, this is 3, this dotted line, so the graph gets very close to 3. So in the language of science or economics, we can say y converges. Converges means it comes very close to 3 with time, which means as more time passes, right? But as you can see, initially, or a long time back y was very far away from 3, right? It was very far away, but as more time passes, it gets closer and closer. So there is another important conclusion we can draw. So let's use this space here. So let's erase this part and use this space. So if you look carefully, you will see that as more time passes, as time increases, as more time passes, the value of y becomes almost stable, right? Let's use a different color, you cannot really see this. So the value of y becomes very much stable, right? So the value of y becomes very much stable, so it's almost flat. It is decreasing very, very slowly. So in this region, y becomes almost stable, y is almost stable. So that is why we can also conclude y becomes stable with time. Y becomes stable with time. So as more time passes, y becomes stable. So these are the conclusions we can draw from the solution, from this graph. So please remember this, the solution can help us understand how y changes with time. So where is this idea applicable? So remember, in economics we assume that the price in a market will become stable, it will reach equilibrium. So this graph is telling us exactly the same thing, that the value of y, which can be price, so this value becomes stable with time. So maybe it moves towards equilibrium with time. So remember, equilibrium means stability. And you could say maybe the price in this the equilibrium price in this market is 3, so that is why y becomes very close to 3 and becomes stable at around 3. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening.